Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show, episode 233. And obviously, in this one, we are dissecting another flipping defeat. Of course, we are. In and away derby, yet again. Obviously, last time we did it, that wasn't so great. Just like that game. But yeah, we're here. Before we get into anything, Dad, how are you? You all good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Everyone's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to everyone that has smashed the like and all of that before we went on. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So, Watford, now going into the game, we were both confident that we weren't going to win, partly because of that record, like I say. The home team tends to win. It's just what happens in recent years in this derby. Um, and just the fact we've been so poor throughout the season. And again, form can go out the window in derbies, but like I said, that home form for the teams, whether we're at home or they're at home, it hasn't seemed to matter in recent years. So you look at that obviously played a massive part. And then you look at the lineup when it drops at 11 o'clock and you're not confident, with that back three. I wasn't. And I know a lot of people wasn't. I mean, other than that, he was all right around the pitch. But that back three was worrying, especially when, like I said in the match reaction, you got your two best centre backs on form, out in Naismith and McGuinness. It was always going to be a big ask, going away to Watford. Who, yes, they've lost a lot of games at home, before that, especially recently. But with how we've been, I see a lot of confidence going into the game. And again, yes, the form can go out, but some of the score lines I was hearing, I couldn't believe it, to be quite honest. I was getting a clean sheet. When's that flipping? That was the last time we got a clean sheet. Oh, mate, I couldn't believe it. I'm not confident at all. I mean, I said a 1-0 defeat. I knew it'd be a tighter sort of game, but yeah, it was just a repetitive. So the lineup was obviously Kaminsky in goal, back three of Bell, Anderson, and Walters. Doughty as the left sort of side. Jones on the right, Asgard, Nakamba, Walsh. There's no complaints there or worries. And then up front, it was Morris and Nordas, which I did say I did probably expect. And yeah, obviously that's what you went for, Dad. As for the bench, it was obviously Elijah, Ali, Baptiste, Bowler, Brown, Clark, Johnson, Krul, Makoso. Good to see Makoso on the bench because we thought he'd be one of these players that comes to Luton. We sign him, we make a big song and dance about it, and then rarely use the guy. Obviously he did come on in this game. Obviously, we'll talk about his individual performance a bit later on. But looking at that lineup, that back three, we have to be honest, it was always a worry, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it was same as what I said. Apart from obviously Naismith, and that's a big miss. Naismith and McGuinness is obviously a big miss. People saying we should have gone to a back four, possibly, but. You might have had them one defender on the bench, which would have been the guy that ended up coming on because we only really had Johnson, and then you'd have had Bell and Anderson centre back. Might have been a bit easier, but he tried to go with the experience, Anderson and Bell. Do you know what I mean? So that messed us up straight away. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like that wasn't even really talked about. Missing. At the moment, two of your best defenders, particularly Naismith. Do you know what I mean? So the rest of the lineup was pretty much expected. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like looking at that, I didn't really have optimism of even scoring or anything like that. But then you look at that and it just doesn't give you any more confidence, really. And it sums up just the season in the sense of just what's going to happen. That type of away performance, especially given their sort of recent performances. That back three. Look at Bell; he's not been great last few weeks. Average at best at times. Walters still got a lot to learn. Going forward he can be good, but me personally, I do have my worries when he plays like more of a centre back than a right-sided wing back. But again, you're not going to drop Jones, are you? So, and then Anderson, well, he hasn't played a lot of football really, and he ain't looked great for us, if I'm going to be honest, since probably the Premier League against West Ham. that game really. So it's always a bit of a worry when it comes to that. Going into the actual game, I mean, well, obviously I struggled to watch the first 10 minutes. Where I was, I didn't turn it on for 10 minutes, but I did see at half time the Nordas incident. I mean, looking at that, did they maybe get away with one that they weren't possibly a red, or do you think yellow was right?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? So part of me feels like if it was the other way around, we'd probably got sent off. I don't know. I think if that defender wasn't near him, the other defender, then yeah, he'd have got straight. He would have got red card. And what I liked about that move, yes, it was long direct towards Morris, who the other defender was, or winger or whatever, was occupied with him, and it allowed Nordas to, it's a little bit of skill really. And yeah, it's definitely a foul. And yellow cards, I guess it is deserved, but could have been worse on another day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then obviously, they we had their moments in the game, like we have throughout the whole season, like where a team goes forward against us, we look so vulnerable, and like we say, we all had them worries about that back three, and they get the first goal. I mean, a lot of people are blaming Kaminsky, a lot of people blaming Anderson, a lot of people blaming them both. For me, the way I see it, and I like a I think Kaminsky, right, the slander I've seen the last, since this game. But if it wasn't for him, we'd be like 10 points behind. Do you know what I mean? Some of the saves he does and keeps us in the games is unbelievable. And some of the disrespect I've seen is crazy, in my personal opinion. But yes, he doesn't command his box well, but flipping hell. Some of the statements I've seen, like the people that are saying about Shea and stuff. And again, I'll put it in the title because it is a talking point that we might as well get into. But if he was really that good, surely we'd be utilising him more. I like Shea. He's been a good servant for Luton, but he's been a backup for how many years now? You know what I mean? Like it's one of them where I look at it and I think, well, he's not even been on the bench anyway. It's been Crawl ahead of him, but Anderson should have just cleared it for me. That's how I see it. At the end of the day, he's made Kaminsky have to come out. If that's Naismith or McGuinness, they're probably getting a sliding block out for a throw, especially McGuinness, as he loves to do one of them. And it's just, I don't even think it was a penalty anyway. Personally, I think it was a very soft penalty, but we've shot ourselves in the foot there, really. And then from there on in, you just know how the game's going to go. Especially going into a game like this, whoever gets the first goal, they're always going to have the momentum to go on and win. And as soon as they got that, you just knew it was going to be a long day, didn't you, Dad? But who do you think's more at fault? Or do you think it's both?
They're both at equal fault. If you look at it, Kaminsky does come running out, but Anderson has got the opportunity to clear it. Do you know what I mean? There's no communication between them, and I feel like more if Kaminsky didn't come rushing out, but he does because he tries to prevent things happening. That's what he does in his game. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't trust the defenders, and do you fucking blame him? That's the main thing, and that's why he's done it. But Anderson had the opportunity to clear it. They're both kind of to blame, but dropping him, good luck with that. Clearly, Crawl and Shea, they're not being looked at as good enough. We know Crawl, when he has played, he's looked wobbly for the guy that he used to be, and Shea hasn't hardly played any football. But you can quite welcome to put him in. Do you know what I mean? But it's not going to happen. The problem we messed up, in my opinion, is letting the guy Walton go back out on loan again. Another player we expected to see, as the backup keeper, basically. And I think if he was in there, he would have been given more opportunities ahead of Crawl and Shea. Similar to the Taylor situation. There's our players, we've signed them and we ain't even played them. The ones we let go and that, and just weird. So yeah, he doesn't trust his defenders. And even on the second goal, he was the one who was coming out trying to block it because he knows, you know. But he won't be dropped. I mean, Shea's obviously third choice. He's not even getting on the bench, right? So if we are going to put anyone else in goal, it would be Krul. And I'd rather have Kaminsky in goal. And last time, you know, he made a mistake or whatever. The next game, he was great in it. You know, he saved the penalty in that. But yes, both their faults, and straight. The way our mentality is, it just puts us straight on the back foot, doesn't it? And that's what happened, really. Do you know what I mean? This is the poorest Luton team as a team what I've seen for a long time. Individual players, they've got the qualities. We know that, but as a team, terrible. You know, and Watford, it got some decent players, but because they've had Cleverly there as a player and have stuck by him, he's got them playing as a team. Do you know what I mean? They're a top 10 team, top 12 team. You know, they're not a playoff winning team at the moment. And you know, but he's got them playing well. You know, and they've got some good individuals. We've got good individuals. But the ones that are just not playing, they're just not playing as a team. And it's just frustrating. But also, you know, having them two defenders definitely didn't help. And then, obviously, yeah, the second goal, similar, you know, done. Anderson definitely got done for pace. And then there was only Bell there to defend. He tried to get something on it, you know, but obviously that's not his main position, and he didn't. So yeah, 2-0 down at half time, wasn't it?
Yep, 2-0 down at half time, giving yourself some mountain to climb, and you're not going to get anything, you know, especially with how the game was going. And I mean, you know, going into the second half, you know, there was good passages of play, but the problem for us, and I said it in my match reaction, was the final third. Usually it's been like individual defensive mistakes. And again, you know, obviously, yes, the first goal was a mistake at the back, but predominantly it's more known, like seen in games, you know, whereas, you know, look at the final third in this game and it was just poor. You know, Jones was the best player by a country mile in this game. You know, he was the only player who actually looked like he had that determination. I mean, I would have put Doughty up there in the first half, but then the corners situation, him and Walsh, it was just repetitive and nothing was happening. They just kept doing the same thing over and over again. Short corner, or cross it in. One of them couldn't even get it to front post. I mean, it was just so bad. But Jones done really well. You know, like I say, his best player by a country mile. Makoso done well coming on. You know, considering that's the first time I've properly seen him play. You know, I know it's only a half, but still looked good. I like that Bloomfield did make them subs early. I didn't really know about the Elijah one at the end, but I like them earlier ones. You know, I thought the subs that did come on, other than, well, you know, I thought Brown done okay. Yeah, I don't think it was terrible. I think he was trying to get stuck in. Well, Baptiste, you know, was a bit average, not great. But again, you know, obviously Bowler come on as well, was trying a little bit. But then the Elijah one, I didn't really see the point of it, to be honest. But yeah, it was one of them where you look at it and you think, well, you know, we are taking a little bit, but then Watford, they were sitting back because they knew we weren't really going to do much, and they could have had a lot more. You know, Loser had a great chance to make it 3-0. He had a couple of good chances, to be fair, in the game. You know, and they were just toying with us, really. You know, Ole's in the stadium. You know, it sums us up away really this year, and it's getting to that stage now where I'm saying it week upon week, but it's going to happen, guys. Like, I cannot see, you know, even if we win like a couple of games, like, I just can't see us continuing that, you know, going on and on and on. And, you know, without getting into it too much, obviously we do on Friday. We have got Portsmouth on the weekend who, you know, are starting to pick up a little bit. You know, they're in a decent position to stay up, and they probably will now. You know, you look at their result a couple of weeks ago, to beat Oxford 2-0 away. You know, Oxford have been pretty good at home this year. You know, beat us. You know, so I just don't see where these wins are coming. We've got a lot of teams around us, but you're sort of relying on them now to not win their games and us to start winning the games, and it's just worrying. It's just worrying, and it's like you said that it is the worst. Obviously, you're a lot older than me, so you've experienced a lot more, but especially from what I've heard from people who've seen like numerous relegations, this is the worst because it's the most unexpected. And you look at it and you think, well, they have to own up to this, the board, because yes, the players ain't been good enough, a lot of them, especially collectively as a team. However, the City with Rob Edwards way too long, way too long. He clearly didn't want to be here. Obviously other struggles and stuff outside of football, and it got to him. So he should have been gone after Middlesbrough, as we all know, and it's messed us up because, like I keep saying, week upon week, you brung Bloomfield in and you're giving him a mountain to climb. I do feel a bit sorry for him, to be quite honest with you. But we will obviously, we will keep him for next season. If it comes to about November and he's still not doing great, then obviously the button probably will be pushed. But I'm not going to be too harsh on him. It's just certain subs, like towards the end of the game, but what can he do with that back, starting 11, really? Yeah, maybe change it to a back four, like I say, but we'd have still lost the game anyway, because there wouldn't have been that leader at the back. I'm sorry, there wouldn't have been. So, yeah, it's disappointing, really, but yeah, what did you make of the second half, Dad?
Yeah, passive, isn't it? Like, played better, but they kind of allowed us. They were a bit like, do we go for another one? And didn't want us to really letting us score. But after a while, they knew that we didn't really have any threat. And I don't give a shit about the O-line and that. That's just it doesn't matter. Jones, when he had that chance, probably should have scored it, but everyone's going in on him. He's got no end product, so he based it on one shot. Shut the fuck up. He was the brightest player. Nothing's affecting him. Other players were just completely anonymous. Asgard, Nakamba, do you know what I mean? Morris, Doughty in the second half, like you say, him and Walsh. Why is it we got to do like something tricky? Do you know what I mean? Like it's always like before, it's Doughty taking everything, and now it's like it worked a little bit, but it's too obvious now. Like, what's the point? It's better off Walsh being in the box or Doughty being in the box. I don't think I've ever seen Doughty in the fucking box. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. It's just, and obviously Anderson, with that stupid yellow card as well. That's why he was took off at half time. And then you put in a youngster on who did pretty well, made a couple of little dodgy things and that, but he sort of recovered. He looked good on the ball. And he might be thrown in there if we've still got Naismith and McGuinness out, I think. And we probably will go 4, but I think they'll be back. Subs, good that he made them early subs. Brown looked lively, like I say, when he come on. Maybe we should have given Nordas a bit more, maybe, but then he's not fully fit, is he? So Brown scored against him last time, scored in the last game. Baptiste, we have to get rid of him, I think. It could really affect the game, same as the Canberra. And Bowler come on, obviously for him because got injured in that, but not playing in his normal position. And then Morris come on, obviously for the last 6-7 minutes. Too late. 2-0, whatever. The whole picture is, we can't believe it's got this far, but this team is going down. Simple as that, man. They ain't got enough. He'll get a couple of wins. It reminds me of the Graham Jones one, the COVID season. We looked down and out then. And even then, one of the games, I think, even when Jones come back in, we got battered 5-0 by QPR or Reading or something like that. And we won it on the last day, something like that. beat Blackburn 3-2. I think we only needed a point in the end or something like that. But we turned it around. This could go to the last day, could. But there's certain matches and certain elements which I think are just written for us. Like, for example, we've got Coventry in a few weeks or a couple of months or whatever, and they're fight for playoffs. And they could win that game, which could potentially secure the playoffs and maybe relegate us. And that's the sort of thing that happens, 2 years, 3 years ago, whatever, Wembley, heartbreak for them. And then, there's swings and roundabouts. I could see that happening. But Bloomfield, some of the, just get rid of him now and get who in. Doesn't matter who you get in now. It doesn't matter. We've been down for ages now. No one else is going to change it. He's brought in certain players. He hasn't. You've got to give him a whole summer to do the rebuild, and then see what happens. Obviously League One should be a lot easier for him. And then if we get promoted, then test him again in there. See what happens. But who are we going to get? Just go right. See you later. You can't. We're not Watford. You don't sack managers. Just people just demand too much. Expect, well, get sack him, get rid of him, try someone else. Oh, he ain't working. Just sack him. Do you know what I mean? It's tough to take, but it's something you got to accept. You know what I mean? Otherwise you just go insane. I'm already accepting it. Anything else is a bonus. If we stayed up on the last day of the season, I'd celebrate it 100%. But half expecting it. Some of the shit that you get from Watford fans, whatever. They're not backed, in the transfer market enough for me. They're going to win fuck all next season. If we go down, we've got a chance. We'll probably still win more than they will. Do the double, mate. Johnson's trophy. Get promoted. Win it. You know what I mean? Some people, it's tough to get out of that league. It's tough to get out of the league. Only if you don't spend money and you don't play the game right. You think we're not going to do that? You think we're not going to learn from the mistakes of this season or of that Premier League experience? Of course we are. Look at Birmingham this season. Spent. No one's touching them. Generally, the teams that go down and in and around the playoffs. Who else went down? Huddersfield. They're in the playoffs. Some people, they haven't spent a lot, but we've already got certain players in place, and players that can do it at that level. But I still want to see overhaul. You've got to get rid of the old guard, like all of them now, and start fresh. Basically, that's what you've got to do. Yes, you lose 10-15 million apparently for getting relegated, but we've got them parachute payments, and the players that probably won't be staying with us, we sell one of them. Doughty's got to be worth at least 15 million. Don't matter if you're in League One. If a top team wants him, they're going to pay the dough. We don't need to sell him. So we'll get the dough for him. Other players, Elijah, they're worth money. You can't, they're only worth like $1 million now. Something. They're not. We were going in for Kone, 7 million. Unproven in the Championship. Doughty's proven in the Premier League, mate. So you can get your money there, the loss there straight away from selling one player, let alone whoever else we're going to sell. And other players, I wouldn't blame them if they got offered a move. Kaminsky, do you know what I mean? Obviously Doughty, Mengi, Elijah and Morris. I probably want to see one of them go anyway. I don't think it's working out. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you anymore at football club as well. So yeah, it is what it is, and I can't see Portsmouth on excellent form. Obviously, we're not going to discuss that today, but they are, and that's what we need. I think Hull playing Cardiff, we need that to be a draw, maybe Hull to beat them. because I think Cardiff got some tricky games. And that's what it is. Look at Ince. We signed him. He was crap for us. A few games he played. He played out of his skin in this game. And that loser, the captain, he orchestrated everything. Do you know what I mean? We ain't got no leaders. And what else? Which I've noticed as well. You don't see the players, like some people might say, "Oh, you don't want them shouting at each other and that," but sometimes you fucking do. You want them to be like, "What are you doing?" This, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? Not just throwing your arms about, like actually like kicking off, like break the up. You see that sometimes in teams. You know what I mean? They're arguing with each other and that, and then they all clear the air and that, and then they just sort of go again. Like sometimes you need that. People do that in real life. So, but is what it is. There's just part of me is like, like you said before, similar season. If it is mathematically impossible already, then you could start experimenting then. Getting things rolling because you ain't got nothing to lose. But yeah, we missed the defenders. We need them back 100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, on the Bloomfield thing, I agree because again, it comes back to what I said. You're sort of giving him a mountain to time anyway. Giving him what's it like during January transfer window. So players that join, they like to ideally know what sort of philosophy and style their manager's going to play under, and then it's just a bit of a shit show, really. Let's be honest. And they've looked at it and they've went, well, let's get someone who does have decent enough experience in League One, so then for next season, we can build on that. And obviously, if he's not doing great by like I say November, then it probably will be a change. But they would have learned, they will spend. I'm sure they will. And like I say, you look at Birmingham, how they done this year. We realistically we should be up there realistically. With the money like say does as well, and we just need to rebuild now. Really, it's got to that stage where it's like Jackie says here. I like Matt. It's not his fault. We have players who like to take wages but not play. And again, that's not all the players. It's just certain players that are just stinking the place out week upon flipping week, and then come out with the same rubbish week upon week. I'm getting sick to death of it, to be quite honest here, like a lot of us are. So yeah, I mean it's frustrating. I mean, there was a comment here from Adam Biggs. Shout out to yourself, mate. I actually think we're really missing Chong. The only one able to create anything really is Jones with his pace and dribbling ability. Chong is another one who can do that. And I think I might have said on one of the hat shows about, imagine having, I think it might have been Doughty and Chong on each side, but instead, think about them two, and then maybe having, because Bell's just not good enough anymore, having Doughty sort of as a left back that can bomb forward, and a potential like 4-4-2 maybe. That would be pretty good, I reckon. Would you think of that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see when because he hasn't been fit at all under Bloomfield, has he? So it'd be interesting to see where he would actually play him. Because for me, you either if you, he's not going to be really taking Doughty's place, is he? And like I say, but Doughty at left back, I want to see him at left back. So it's interesting to see if he'd trust him in midfield. Do you know what I mean or not? I'd be tempted to put him up front based on the how everyone else is playing.
Well, I'll tell you what would be good. But it'd be maybe a bit too much of an attack in midfield. So Jones on the right, Doughty on the left, and then next to Doughty you have Chong, and then you have like Asgard. That's a bit too attacking, isn't it? There's not really a lot of cover there. That's the
Yeah,
only worry with that.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know where he really fits in.
Mm.
Yeah, we know he's good going forward and that, and we probably are missing him a bit. But where does he fit in? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. I think generally his best position is on the left, isn't it? So we'll see. I'm sure he'll be back for not next game after. I think Burke's going to be back for the next game, or at least on the bench. But really, I'm hoping that Naismith and McGuinness are definitely back, and we'll go back to a back four. That's what'll happen. And then we'll see what whether we go one up front. We're at home, aren't we? So should be going two really. We do miss him, but what can you do? And the thing is, as well, what I've noticed is if a player's got knocks and stuff, or tight hamstring or whatever, we're dropping them for the next game. They're not playing at all. But I swear, under Edwards, we'd just throw him in. Do you know what I mean? There was a couple of times, oh no, he's definitely not. He's not even playing. He's not, and then he'd be in the lineup, or like that time when Doughty was injured before he got proper injury. Carried on playing, mate. Just take him off. Just Baptiste is clearly not fit. But then we haven't really got anyone else at the moment, have we? That's the thing. He won't be with us next season, I won't before. Nakamba, nowhere near the player. Has a couple of good performances, but nowhere near the player he was before. Anderson, I think he's better in a back four, but he can't play in a back three. But obviously, we have no choice. Hence, he was hooked at half time, and the youngster bought him. You know what I mean? Walsh would be better if everyone else is around him is thriving. Same as Asgard. Same as a few players, really. Do you know what I mean? But Walters is still young. He's definitely got ability. Hashioka wasn't even on the bench either. I don't know, was he injured? Can't remember. I think he was. Yeah, he's injured as well, so that don't help. Just that imbalance, and obviously he's trying stuff. He generally plays the players in their correct positions, but obviously against Watford we didn't have that luxury. So Walters is a right back for me, not centre back. Hanson's a centre back, but not in a back three, and Bell we know. So obviously when we saw that, we knew that if they put it on us, or we're liable to make mistakes, and that's all it took. Might as well get into player ratings, mate.
There was an earlier comment which I'll just get into quickly from Jackie. Kaminsky saved us more than once. Again, goes back to it earlier. I wanted to make the point. Let's not forget about Millwall, guys. Away, the only away game we've actually won, this season. And Kaminsky with two world-class saves at the end. As simple as that. So, yes, recently when Shea has come in, he's putting it effort, putting a good shift like Portsmouth. He did, but I just think Kaminsky's better all round. Maybe Shea's better at commanding the box, but I think all round Kaminsky's miles better personally. So, Kaminsky won't be dropped. I agree with you, Dad. Because you also look at, I think it was the FA Cup. Was it the FA Cup? He was even playing in that game ahead of Krul. And they put Krul on when they put next game in Nottingham or whatever. They had a Krul on it. So you thought he was going to play. And I think there was even last year with Rob Edwards where we had it and Kaminsky played against someone. And we were like, well, we didn't even expect it ourselves that time. So he's still going to play, in my opinion. There's that when it comes to that. Big up to Spencer in the chat as well. But let's get into the player ratings. So starting off with Kaminsky. Well, again, there was another save he done towards the end where they could have made it 3-0. Tipped it out wide. Yes, the communication is obviously not great for the first goal, but again, it's not just down to him. So for me, I'm not going to go as harsh as people have been. I'm going 6.5.
I'll just give him a 6. I mean, he didn't really have a lot to do in the second half.
They were just toying with us, like I say,
So I'll just give him a 6.
That's fair enough. Moving on to Walters. Go over to Walters. mean, second half I thought he was slightly better than the first. But yeah, again, he's got a lot to learn. Like I say, I don't really like him in centre back, if I'm going to be honest. I do have my worries. So for me, I will go with 6.5 again.
I should give him a 6.
Fair enough. Moving on to Anderson. Well, Paul got subbed off at half time.
5.
Yellow card. There you go. 5. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I'm going with a 5 for Anderson. It was not great. Moving on to Bell. Well, yes, he tried for the second goal, but I'm just getting disappointed with him now, to be honest. You look at the Plymouth game, ball watching, he's not good enough anymore. Simple as that. I don't want to see no BS, yeah? Like when we extended Woodrow's contract, when we extended Shea's contract, I don't want to see none of that with Bell. Yeah, his time is finished at Luton. I'm sorry, but it is. Yeah. So for me, I'll go with another. Actually, no, I won't go as low as Anderson. I'll go 5.5.
I should give him a 6.
Fair enough. And then moving on to we'll go to Doughty. Again, I thought first half him and Jones were the standout players, but then the set piece situations, later on and stuff, they were very annoying. And it drops his rating down a little bit, but I'll still go for 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him 6.5. Quietest game, you know. And he was annoyed as soon as we went. He's done, mate. He's going to be off, 100%. 6.5.
Yeah, I totally agree. Him and Kaminsky, they'll be gone. They're the main two for me, I can say. And I can't blame them. They're the two that I can't blame. Kaminsky 6, Walters 6, says Jackie, Anderson 5, Bell 4.5, interesting. Doughty 7. Moving on to Jones on the other side. Now, I don't really give man of the matches if we lose, as you lot know, but I feel he deserves it because he was the best player by a country mile. There was a moment Koso did play a ball to him in the second half, and I was like, "Oh, he's overhit that," but he managed to get to it. You know, a few Watford fans have said, as much as obviously we weren't great, it was a bit too easy for them in the end. Anytime Jones was going forward, they were worried. And I felt every time he had the ball, he was going to do something. Should have probably put that shot on target. I say not necessarily score. I say he should have put it on target. But in the game, I thought, overall, he was the best player. And, if he can keep playing like that and we keep utilising him in the sense of going forward, not getting him to defend as much, and having more cover there, like obviously, hopefully, McGuinness or Naismith there, then I think we'll be okay, to be honest, when it comes to him, got a couple of goals and assists. So for me, I will go with a 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5. Man of the match yet again. Hardest working player on the pitch, brightest, looking player on the pitch. Take it part when he took parts for their defenders, got the nudge in the penalty, box. Other refs probably would have given that, didn't get it, but but it was definitely a nudge. And then just running rings around them basically. And once other players get up to his level and how he works and things like that, it's gonna be a problem, And he will be with us next season regardless. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Great signing. Signing we actually made whilst Rob Edwards was still at the club. Man of match 7.5.
Yeah, no, that was always an interesting signing in the sense of, obviously it's, we heard reports Rob Edwards was obviously going, and then obviously he did. Jones still come in, so it's like going back to what I said earlier. You always like to know who your manager was, but obviously Bloomfield's can be similar in the way he plays. Obviously can play back three or back four as we've seen throughout his time at Wickham. So, if you can play him on that right side continuously, if we are to continue with back three, if Naismith and McGuinness were back, for example, then I don't mind it as much. Obviously, if we don't have them two back, then I want to go back to back four and then, have him as that right midfielder, to be honest, right now. But yeah, Jackie agrees. 7.5 man of the match as well. Moving on to Walsh. There was a picture during the game, literally, and this just determined the game really and who wanted it more. There's a picture of Walsh, and then there was like 4 or 5 Watford players around him. I felt in the game, he had the moments of Doughty. I mean, some of his passing was a bit off in the first half as well, I'll be honest. Um, it wasn't terrible, but it just weren't great. So I'll just go over 6 for Walsh.
The thing is, as well, like they doubled up on our better players. Apart from Jones, they didn't really. They put 4 on him and still could deal with him, but they were doubling up on Doughty, doubling up on Walsh. Not letting Asgard probably has to work a little bit harder. That's what he's going to be learning in League One. He doesn't have to work so hard, but in Championship, you have to work a bit harder. Walsh, average performance, not the worst. Soon he'll have 2 good games and then one average game, and suddenly he's shit. Be over yourselves. 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. Jackie's gone with the same. Move on to Nakamba next. Not his best games in the recent weeks. I didn't really see him in a game, to be honest. So I think I'll go over 5. Sorry, not 5. 5.5.
I'll give him a 5. I thought he was anonymous. Hence why he got off at half time. He's meant to be, and has done in the past, protect the defenders. He's not doing that at all. Whether he's not being asked to do that, but I presume he is. Anonymous. Another player that's probably on his way up. And that's the thing about relegation. Players already have it in their minds. Already have, but as the season goes on and on, players just won't be performing. That's why we are going to go down, because there's too many players that are thinking ahead now, because they're not going to be wanting to play in League One. Simple as that. And he's one of them. 5.5.
Yeah, and I feel we need to address the CDM situation. Getting another one in anyway, or maybe 2 now, because you look at Lamine. Obviously, he hasn't even been in the last couple of match day squads. But obviously Nakamba, like you say, will most likely depart. So we need to get someone in, hopefully with a bit of experience that can help get us back up. But yeah, Jackie agrees. Nakamba 5 as well. Moving on to Asgard again, I thought he was kept quiet at times. I mean, there was a few moments he was going forward during the game, but overall, it's nowhere near the performance against Sheffield United, for example. So, average 6.
Yeah, I'll give him 6. The second half, he was looking for the ball more, and he's quite determined on the ball. He is a good player. There's no doubt about that. But he can't be doing it all on his own, and he worked a lot harder in the second half. But we want something special from him, don't we? Which kind of what you need in these games. But I'll up it. I'll give him 6.5.
Yeah, that's understandable. Jackie's gone with 6 as well. And then moving on to the strikers, we'll start off with Morris. All the big talk before the game. I don't know if we're going to win anyway. But again, another disappointing performance. Let's be honest, from him. Especially in this game. I don't know if any of you see the interview before the game. I think it's like 54 seconds on Twitter. Obviously, they always interview a player before the game now. And he was like saying, yeah, we're up through, we know what it means. But you stunk the place out again, to be quite honest here. And it's disappointing. And again, that's why I would have went with Brown, because yes, didn't quite score anything in this game, but I think he's better than Morris, to be honest. At least he's trying to get the ball, trying to make things happen. Whereas Morris was just same performance, really. He's not a captain. He shouldn't be the captain. I'm sorry, he shouldn't. I don't like to see it from a striker, really, to be honest. I like to see it from someone at the back. Yes, Naismith was out. Honestly, even though he's been poor, I'd rather it had been Bell, to be honest. At least there's someone at the back who can see the whole game better. So, yeah, disappointing yet again, really, for Morris. So I'm going with 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. Like, it's just sort of typical, like, it's like he's been found out at certain, people just doubling, frustrate him, know he's going to back onto him and stuff, and he was just giving free kicks away, really. Yes, he probably should have got some, but he always probably should anyway. But it's just sort of, that's it. And he's got no pace as well. whereas Brown has, and that gave him something to think about in the second half when he come on. But yeah, just not offering enough. Still, I'm sure. He'll score another couple of times before, and he is determined, and he's a professional in that, but it's just not worked out for him as much this season. Obviously, he's better than Elijah still, but yeah, not great really. 5.5.
Yeah. 6. So Jackie. Yeah, I mean, it's getting frustrating. It's getting frustrating. I mean, you like to see that he's, willing to show some determination, but sometimes it's too over the top for me. Yeah, he gets grabbed and held onto, but sometimes it's just like, come on, mate, like you need to start getting the goals now. Really, 7 goals. I mean, it's just not good, is it? Really, going into the season, yes, wanted to keep him and Elijah. 'Cause, we know they're proven to do it at this level, but like I said at the time, I wanted someone on top of that. You know, um, as much as I thought Taylor would get a bit of a chance, I wanted someone else to be there as well. To help them basically, and obviously we didn't do that at the time, and that's another issue really. But yeah, moving on to the last striker that obviously started, Nordas. Thought he was okay, in the game. I mean, a lot of people are a bit harsh in my opinion. I mean, he had that moment at the start where obviously he got fouled, and he's already shown in a couple of games that he can probably provide more than Morris and Elijah, to be honest, for the remaining part of the season. So for me, I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going 6.5 considering he played for the half. He definitely gets in good positions and affects the game, and he's obviously not that fit. But I thought he done well while he was on the pitch. And obviously then once we were 2-0 down, then we just didn't really play it properly, and yeah, I can understand it. But I probably preferred him to take flipping Morris off, but he's the captain, isn't it? So that's probably why he didn't. But yeah, I don't think he was too bad. I think Brown might start the next game. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So I went with him and Nordas for this game, Brown. But yeah, no, he was all right, Nordas. He was better than the others, in my opinion. But yeah, 6.5. Says Jackie. And then when it comes to the subs, obviously we'll start off with Brown. Brown, will give him 6.5. I think he's trying and he showed better stuff than Morris, to be honest.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and trying to use his pace, things like that, and just looking quite lively. Kind of playing. I think if we do keep him, I've heard he's on a big wage, but half of them probably are anyway. If we do keep him, I think he'll definitely do well at League One level. Too good for that. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes players need consistency to believe in themselves and that. He hasn't really just been starting every game and stuff, but most of the time he's looked decent. A couple of times, just not. But they've all been guilty of that. But he's contributed, considering he's been a substitute. I just feel more than Elijah has. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, fair enough. And then moving on to Makoso. I mean, it's 45 minutes. It was half a game. But there was good moments for him, considering that was his first game away as well in a derby. I thought he looked decent at times. Some good long range passing. Looks better than Anderson, like I mentioned. So for me, because it was first game, I'll give him 7. It's all right.
Yeah, he was all right. I'll give him 6.5. I thought he was. We were a bit worried about him when he come on, being a youngster and stuff like that, thrown in at the deep end. But I thought he'd done pretty well considering.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackie said Brown 6.5. Christ, a 7. Moving on to Baptiste. Oh, it's getting a bit disappointing now, really, isn't it? Like, it's just he come on at half time, he got injured again, and had to come off. And yeah, he won't be here next season. It's disappointing because we knew, his injury record weren't great, but we expected, to at least see more games of him, and we just haven't. And it's been disappointing. And I thought, for large parts of the season, if he was to feature more, he could be part of set pieces, taking some. Because we see in one game, I think it was against Hull, he was taking a lot of crosses, but, doing all right. But since then, he's been injured and you can't rely on him. And, especially about it's been in the last couple of years, us as fans, obviously having to deal with relegations, no disrespect when you look at players like him, Burke, you're getting sick of them now, really, because you just can't rely on him, and everyone's like, yeah, Burke has a few good games and that, but then he gets injured. How can he can't be the best defender for me if you can't rely on the guy, to be honest with you. So for me, disappointing, 5.5.
I'll just give him a 6. I do feel sorry for him because he's definitely got ability, and when he earlier on in the season, he looked pretty sharp and pretty good for us. Do you know what I mean? Strong, but he's just got terrible injuries record, and I don't think he was fit enough to come on anyway, personally, because he was going to come off in the previous game, innit? But I mean, who else would we have put on? Just having a look now, like we ended up putting Bowler there. Could have put Clark on, but obviously, I'm quite surprised we didn't put Clark on, to be honest with you. But yeah, should give him a 6.
Yeah. Baptiste 2, says Jackie. Baptiste made glass is a 4. Being generous, says Ed. Big up to Ed as well. And then moving on to Bowler. I'll just go over 6 for Bowler. I think, 70th minute, the way the game was petering out, he couldn't really do much.
Yeah, I'll just give him a 6. He's playing out of position. Do you know what I mean? He's a winger. He's playing in Jones's position, but he sort of had to play in midfield. And then I guess like Walsh or someone, was a bit deeper. But yeah, it's not his natural position. He's never going to be that good. You have to, certain players, if they excel in a position or they're very good in that position, you have to play them in that position, and 6. And then Elijah, I'll just give him a 5. I know he was only on for a bit, but.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'll go 5.5 for Elijah. I mean, why is he struggling to control the ball? Well, I remember when we was gassing him up for that, saying he's like really good at it, and now he just can't do it. Yeah, he just can't. The ball just can't stick at his feet. Oh, and he just not quite in this game from memory, but like when I think about Oxford away, he was so bad in that game, slipping all over the place. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I could not believe it, guys. It's so bad. Larger 4, says Jackie. Bowlers 6 was okay going forward. Yeah, he was. Regarding Bowler 6 as well. Yeah, so there you go, guys. That is the player ratings for the Derby Day defeat. Obviously, both gave Jones man of the match, which has now put him up to 3 votes this season. As for the points, obviously, I did gain a point, as I did say, a Watford win, unfortunately. I said 1-0. Obviously, you said a draw, Dad, so it remains the same. 19. Let me just double check. I think it's 19-15. Yeah, 19-15 now on the points. That'd be interesting to see. That is the end of the season, but we ain't got a lot of confidence in the team to get results upcoming. So, yeah, probably expect quite a few non-wins, to be honest. But any final things, Dad, you want to say about anything?
No.
Well, what we'll say is let's get this ground off the screen now. Yeah, that's the ideal. We'll change it. Saturday, there you go, back at Kenilworth Road, where it's not a fortress anymore. Let's be honest, but yeah, big up to everyone that has tuned in. Obviously, do smash a like if you haven't already. Do obviously subscribe as well if you haven't already. Shout out to everyone that did watch the stuff regarding the Derby Day game. Obviously, the vlog and the obviously match reaction. A few new subscribers from both. Do appreciate that. And did have a little message for the Watford fans yesterday. Don't ask about the filter. Didn't ask to put it on. Don't know what filters on my face, but yeah, I thought I was talking a bit of sense, but some of their fans agreed, some obviously didn't. It's like waffling. But anyway, that's the joys in it. That's the joys. But yeah, as for anything, obviously it won't be anything now until Friday. There will be shorts out, but no videos or live streams. And then obviously we'll get into the Portsmouth game where we're both not confident. What a surprise! But yeah, I've got to that stage where I want to simulate the season, to be honest. But yeah, big up to everyone. Like I say, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials. Shout out to Ed, like always. Shout out to Jackie. Shout out to everyone that watched. Don't forget to smash a like on the way out. Follow me on the other channel. And yeah, until Friday, we will see you lot in a bit. So, till then, take care and peace.
Peace.